Welcome to the Awakened Human Podcast, the place to be for highly progressive yet extremely grounded intuitive guidance, energetic support, metaphysical tools, and higher consciousness for highly successful, ambitious, soul-centered visionaries and leaders like you who want to make a global impact and achieve your highest fulfillment by aligning with your soul's true divine agenda and your role in God's plan of lighted creation, and by utilizing your divine gifts, talents, and abilities from the higher realms. We do this by working with the non-physical realms of higher guidance, energy, intuition, and powerful metaphysical tools for healing and transformation. We understand that the real change and transformation that's being called for on planet Earth and in our own lives and our own businesses doesn't come from outside of us, but rather from within. And that the change that we desire to experience in our lives and in our world requires us to change from the inside. I'm your host, Lori Ann Spagna. I'm a best-selling author, spiritual catalyst, intuitive, energy worker, ascension guide, multidimensional channel, animal communicator, visionary, lightworker, and luminary. I have dedicated my entire professional life to helping thousands and thousands of humans and animals all over the world in service and contribution to the light, which is the expansion, the upliftment, the evolution of humanity, to awaken, to uplift, and to align with our true divine source, which exists within each and every one of us. It is my passion, joy, and purpose to share this information, energy, and consciousness with you. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing time with me. Let's get started. Well, hello, you magnificent one, you magnificent being. It is so wonderful to be here with you today. I love doing the podcast. I really enjoy it. And the reason I love doing it so much is because I get an opportunity to share and to give and to offer what I'm here to offer without any obligations, commitments. Like, it's just me sharing and hoping that you're receiving great benefits from it. I think you're going to love, love, love today's podcast episode. I'm so excited to share it with you. So it's called The Fastest and Best Way to Manifest. And I really know you're going to love this because contrary to what most people are taught about manifesting, this is 100% effective, guaranteed, if you do it correctly, and it's so easy. And this will probably be a very fast podcast episode because once you hear it, and all I'm asking really is when you start doing it, that you write me and let me know how fabulous it worked for you, because you will be amazed. You will love, love, love this. Okay, so here we go. So traditional manifesting, and by the way, I love traditional manifesting. I started learning about manifesting, over 20 years ago. Let me give a little history on my manifesting. Well over 20 years ago. I was living in Maui. I was learning about manifesting. And I was learning how you have to visualize it with absolute perfection. You just keep visualizing the thing you want over and over. And then at some point I started learning, well, if you add in an energy of a sensation of what it feels like while you're visualizing, like an energy of gratitude or excitement or something like that, right? I would do that. So to go back to the story, I was living in Maui. I was completely broke. I was out of money, out of credit cards. I was living on no money a day and rationing dog food. It was horrible, right? So I was trying to manifest a $20 bill. I was manifesting, by the way, gas in my gas tank. Like, it was on below E, and I was like, I don't know, somehow, some way. And I would just visualize myself walking in my front door, getting home. Sometimes I would visualize the gas tank going up. Like, that entire 2 years there, I never had more than like $3 of gas in my car. So it was a horrible way to live when you live in the United States, especially in Maui. It was like so expensive there. But in any case, that's how I was getting by. And I'd visualize like the needle on the gas tank rising, and it really worked. I was like amazed. I was driving on no gas most of the time. I don't know how I did it, cross the island and stuff, right? So I was learning how effective manifesting could be. And so then I realized I could manifest a $20 bill. Now, understand at that time, there wasn't really internet. There was internet, but not like we have it now. It was like people were just beginning to have internet. We were still in the AOL days, kind of, or it's maybe a little bit more than AOL. Now there was like Yahoo. But in any case, it wasn't like it is now. So I didn't remember what $100 bill looked like. It wasn't like I could look it up. That's how pathetic. I'm judging myself with that word. But be with me here. It's just in laughter and fun. I don't mean to call myself pathetic because I was like really trying and I was really learning on my own. And there weren't podcasts about this. There weren't like internet websites everywhere teaching. Anyway, it was better than AOL. I say that, but anyway, the internet wasn't what it was. So I'm learning this on my own. And what I was trying to do was manifest a $20 bill because, of course, it didn't even occur to me since I was in a state of like poverty consciousness that I could manifest $100 bill. And I really just didn't remember. Like I probably knew that Ben Franklin was on it, but regardless, it just didn't occur to me. In my poverty mindset, $20 seemed like a lot of money. So every day and every night, I would visualize and I would tell the whole story because that's how I was learning it. You got to see the whole process. So I would visualize. I lived in Pukalani in Maui on the golf course, and I would visualize in my mind over and over all day driving from Pukalani to the closest gas station, getting out of my car and walking to pay for the gas. Or at that point, I was like still buying cigarettes very early in the Maui time, actually. And I would be going into the gas station to either get the cigarettes or pay for the gas. And I'd look down and there was the $20 bill and I'd find it and pick it up. And then I'd feel all excited. And I did that for like months. Okay. And then I added in, I got even more elaborate that the person who lost the $20 before me was a very bad person. They were mean to animals because it was like a lot of not nice stuff to animals in Maui at that time because I wasn't taking from somebody that was a good person. Somebody lost their $20 because I told the whole story about it, you guys. It was ridiculous. I did this for months. Now, as a side note, and I just made this up that it was right to find the $20 from somebody who was irresponsible and probably unkind to animals. That's how I justified it because I didn't want to steal from somebody wasn't stealing anyway. I was just finding money. That's what I was trying to manifest, to find some money because I needed money. So in any case, this is what was going on. And please understand, I already knew that I was manifesting things. I already knew I wanted to do it consciously and deliberately because I already knew I was watching the gas tank go up. I already knew I was like, there were different things I was doing. Like, I remember this one time just for fun, and this was the easiest, this was the coolest. I decided to manifest a plastic wiffle ball. You know what a wiffle ball is? A waffle wiffle ball? It's like a plastic ball that it looks like a baseball, but it's plastic. It's like wiffle ball. I think that's what it's called. And just for fun, I kept visualizing this wiffle ball with a hole in it. And I'll never forget when I manifested that. I completely let go of it. I forgot that I did it. And then months later, I moved into a new house and there was a box left behind in the house. People didn't, you know, it was like pool supplies. And I just go in there to kind of like clean it out. Like, what is this stuff in here? And there at the bottom of the box is a wiffle ball, a white wiffle ball, or yeah, I think that's what it's called, with a hole in it. And I was like, oh, that's so cool, right? I mean, I manifested things. I had a lot of fun playing with like seeing purple cars. I'd be like, okay, I just want to see purple cars everywhere just for the fun of it. So I knew I was manifesting. And I didn't understand that life is one big manifestation, right? That's the fact. You're always manifesting whether you realize it or not. And so after all these years, well, let me get to finish the story with Maui, because I realized I got a little excited here. But finally, with the $20 gas station find of the $20, I just got tired of it. I was like, it's not working. Whatever. I give up. And of course, as soon as I gave up and let go of attachment, I did not find $20 in the gas station. But even better, I will never forget. I opened my wallet and $20 was in my wallet out of nowhere. I was living on coins, like quarters and dollars, and $20 miraculously was in my wallet. When that happened, I really got it. There is something even more intelligent, not just like that was so surprising than me, but a consciousness that is actually trying to teach me something. Because otherwise, that $20 would have just shown up the way I had it. There was something I was missing. There was something I wasn't realizing. And that consciousness was playing with me in a way and saying, we're going to give you that $20, but not the way you thought it was going to come, or not based on the way you were trying to control the narrative, right? That was what I learned from it. And of course, I learned that there is an intelligence that is playing with me, that is part of this game with me, that is super intelligence, right? Higher consciousness. So I didn't know if that was my own higher self at the time, or God, or the angels, or what. I just knew, wow, this is incredible, right? And I mean, years later, I started to realize you're being trained for a level of mastery and you're here to help others learn and you're here to teach. Of course, I didn't know that at the time. I was just trying to survive and use a tool that I was learning. Okay, let's fast forward to the purpose of this podcast for you, because the way traditional manifesting is taught is basically that. Traditionally, you're taught to visualize, and if you can, add some kind of energy to it, like gratitude or excitement or optimism. Always gratitude is kind of like the traditional energy that it's advised to use, right? And people will also tell you write it down because you're taking it from the mind to the physical. And I say that too. That's great. I love people when people write things, brings it into the physical. But the thing is that your super consciousness is so far beyond the games you play with it. See, the people who are teaching that, and the advanced teachers, they'll teach you to do it from a state of where you're somewhat altered, right? You've done some kind of breathing technique or some kind of meditation technique or meditation practice. And if they're really advanced, they'll help you get into a different brainwave frequency. So you're not just doing it from just a light alpha or a beta brainwave, which is what most people try to do it from. Certainly when I was trying to manifest, a lot of times I was somewhere floating between beta, beta, alpha, delta, theta, gamma. Like I was in all those brainwave frequencies. But because of all the energy work I was doing in Maui. But here's the point. You're manifesting 24/7, no matter what, all the time, because you are consciousness itself. And in this physical world, we can identify consciousness at different frequencies. So higher consciousness or super consciousness, id, ego, lower consciousness, unconscious, subconscious. We have all these terminologies for different layers and levels of consciousness. However, regardless, you are consciousness. You are not all the definitions you've been given in the physical world. The ultimate truth is you are consciousness. And even though you're identifying as a human, a female, a male, however you identify, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a brother, a spouse, whatever, your consciousness identifying through the labels that you take on, through the persona that you take on. So your consciousness is manifesting 24/7, 100% of the time. I know you're all sitting on the edge of your seat, waiting for me to give you the answer with bated breath of how to manifest it in the fastest ways possible. So here it is. Because your consciousness, because you are a thinking, feeling, sentient being, that is what creates your manifesting. So here's the fastest way. Just think about what you want to achieve or to accomplish with excitement and anticipation. That's it. You don't need to visualize. I often will jokingly say, I'm going to elaborate here, so please, there's more to this, but I often jokingly say visualization is for babies. And the reason I say that, like as a joke, is because I get it. For the human living in the very 3D world, visualization is a very advanced tool. And it is for the human who's relatively unconscious and learning how to visualize. And it can be for them a very powerful tool. However, when you get to more advanced states of consciousness, and you might not think you're there, but just by realizing you are consciousness itself and that your thoughts combined with your emotions, even if your thoughts are constantly manifesting and materializing things, and when you have a thought, it creates a physiological response in the body that you experience as some form of emotion. That's part of your electromagnetic field, right, of consciousness within you. What that does is that electromagnetic field within you starts creating that experience energetically. That's the most simplistic way to explain it. And there's a million ways to talk about it, but regardless, you're manifesting. That's the point. You're manifesting 24/7 by thinking about things and having an emotional response. Period. End of sentence. It's just that for the most humans, what we tend to do is all the thoughts and beliefs we have, and all the emotional stuff, and all the unconscious stuff, all of the worries and doubts and fears, all of the ways we self sabotage, all of the parts of us that think or believe we're inadequate or not enough, or that the parts of us that are not feeling good overall, or the parts of us that are not self nurturing or not self loving or having negative self talk, those are the energies, the electromagnetic field that interfere. Okay. They interfere. You have a thought of something you want, then you doubt that you can have it. You have an image or an idea about something you'd like to manifest, and then you wonder if it's real. So you see, you interfere with your own manifesting. But so to make the point of the fastest and easiest way to manifest, it's this simple. Pick something that you want, any one thing, and play with this. Start playing with it so you can become an expert manifester. That's why I picked the ball with the hole in it, because I knew that that's why I picked the purple cars, because I knew that if I could start seeing my ability to do it with something that I wasn't attached to, I would start building my own confidence and certainty in my own ability to manifest deliberately. So pick some things at first. By the way, I teach this same thing with dowsing and muscle testing. I'll do another podcast episode on that in a future episode. But when you do things that you're not attached to, you can build confidence and certainty because you don't care. You're just like, I just want to see if it works just for the fun of it, right? So pick things that are simple and silly that mean nothing. Like, here's a great example. This is a shungite block. Just decide you're going to manifest a shungite block, a black shungite. You're just going to see it somewhere. Like, pick something that means nothing to you to practice, okay? But you can play with that and you can visualize it and you can practice it and you can see it and you can intend it, and then it'll show up in your world. And then you'll get to develop your sense of confidence. But that's not the fastest and easiest way. It's just a fast, easy way to build your certainty and confidence around your ability to manifest deliberately. The fastest way is you pick something that you want that's somewhere out in future time space. By the way, next episode is going to be all about time. You're going to love it. But you pick it out in the future, like in 3 months, you want to buy a car that looks like this, or within 6 months, you'd like to have a house, or within the next year, you'd like to meet your right divine partner, or pick anything, right? We're talking about things that are material, because when we're talking about manifesting, for the most part, we're talking about material. You're talking about actualizing something into the physical world, because you can decide you want to just manifest peace and harmony in your life, but that's not the same thing. That's energy, And that's another practice, right? And I'm all gung ho on being peace and harmony and love and all that. But this is about actualizing something into the physical world that you'd like to have or experience. Maybe it's a new vacation. Okay, whatever it is. So you put it out somewhere in the future within a reasonable amount of time that you can take right and appropriate action, right? Because you know that, you see, if you try to make $500,000 fall into your bank account magically by tomorrow, now you're being like, you're playing in the realm of magic and miracles, the mystical realm. And if you're not at that frequency of certainty and consciousness yet, it's unlikely that's going to happen. I don't mean to poo poo on your dreams. And you can play with that once you become an expert manifester. I've manifested some cool stuff like that. But if you want to develop your capacity to be an excellent, confident, certain manifester, then follow what I'm saying. So here we go again. Pick something that you'd like in the physical world to manifest and materialize, whether it's a partner, a car, a house, a new job, whatever it is, okay? Something that's real, tangible, physical, earthly experience or material thing. And pick a certain amount of time, a window of time, not a deadline date, a window of time so that it's fluid. Why not a deadline date? Because now there's an attachment to something hard and fast within 3 months, within 6 months, within a year, within, okay? Because now you've got no attachment to particulars because it could come faster or it might take longer, but overall, within a year. And you just start thinking about it. That's it. When you think about it as if you're planning it. You're excited. You're excited for it. So I want to give you another example. Because why is it important to do it that way? You're thinking about it as if you're planning it because you literally are planning for it. You're planning for it with a kind of like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how it's going to feel. This is where I'm going to go to buy it or whatever it is. What that does is by thinking about it, you're naturally going to have a physiological response of excitement or enthusiasm or something like that. That is a powerful energy to attach to the thought about it. And that ripples into the field. You're not trying to get it overnight in an unrealistic way. You're realizing. And at the same time, you're thinking, okay, what do I need to do to make that happen? What am I going to need to create? What actions am I going to take, right? Because that's part of the physical earthly reality too. So let me give another example, a couple more examples here, and hopefully this is helping you. A couple of years ago, I moved to Sedona. Many of you may know that. While I was traveling cross country in my car during the year of COVID to move to Sedona, I was thinking about what I wanted to have when I got there in terms of a house, a home, community, friends, location, etc. It was just natural byproduct. When I got to Sedona, of course, everybody talked about at that time how hard it was to find housing. You could spend months looking for housing. People had stories about how long it took them to find housing. When I got there, I found the exact house that I was looking for. It had a pool, a jacuzzi. It was right in town. It was in a cute community. It was dog friendly. It had its own private backyard, like all the things I wanted within 5 days, within 5 days of me looking. And I knew it was because I had spent that year traveling to Sedona. It was almost a year of traveling cross country before I actually landed in Sedona. And during that time, I was just thinking about it and I was knowing this is the house I'm going to get. Something like this, or even better. And I was thinking, like, I even thought about the kind of landlord I wanted. By the way, everybody wants an absentee landlord who just responds when you call, right? You want someone who's in their integrity, right? So I was thinking about that. I was just thinking, like, I want someone who's really respectful and kind. I want an animal friendly place. That's it. And because I had a whole year on the road to think about it with just excitement and I was looking forward to it, by the time I got there, I didn't have any struggle finding a house, even though everybody in Sedona talks about how hard it is to find a home. I found it within 3 days. within 5 days. And I was approved right away within 3 days. And so much so that I was on the phone with a friend of mine and I was like, is this a scammer? Like, because I found her through Craigslist. I mean, it was so easy. So easy. It was almost like, is this for real? And my friend, who's really psychic, he was like, no, you did it. Very funny, right? Very cool. Okay, let me give you another example. A couple of years after that, I was moving to Sarasota, Florida. I don't live there anymore, but I lived there for close to a year. And on the way to moving there, when I was leaving Sedona, driving back to Florida, and I knew I was going to move to Sarasota, that was another, I don't know, it took me about a few months to get back, or maybe, I don't know, I took my time. But in any case, however long I was driving, I don't even think it was a few months. I think it was less than a month. But I had stopped in Mississippi. I stopped in a few places. I remember I was teaching an animal communication class in Mississippi during that time. So I remember I stopped there, I hung out for a while. Anyhow, that period of time, which, yeah, again, was probably more like a month, but I was heading back and I knew I was going to move to Sarasota. And one of the things I loved so much about Sedona was how many wonderful conscious friends I made and the conscious community there. And I really enjoyed that because it's nice to be around conscious people who are consciously aware of reality and who aren't living in a state of unconsciousness, which there tends to be a lot of that in Florida, a lot of unconsciousness. So when I was moving to Sarasota, I just kept thinking, I really want to have a great community. I really want to just make friends easily and make great connections. I loved that so much about Sedona. I'd like to have that again in Sarasota when I moved there. I kept thinking it and I was just excited. And I knew I was manifesting, but it also was like effortless for me because I knew it would be. I just knew it. I knew it would be. I had that knowing because I had already by that time developed that certainty. This is how it works. Of course, this is what I want. This is what I'm having. And I'm a person who makes friends very easily. I love being social, even though I also I'm both like extroverted and introverted. I really love alone time. I love my own company, but I wanted to have community. Anyway, by the time I got there, I met this one woman who was very plugged in to the conscious community. And I knew one center, which I love, where I went and I taught. And almost overnight, I was so plugged into the community. I was being invited to parties, conscious gatherings, and events. And overnight, I knew everybody there in the conscious community, not everybody. And it's a pretty decent sized city. And I'll never forget the woman who kind of started introducing me to everybody. She said, wow, you really just slid right in there. And I was like, I was manifesting for that for a year or however long it was. So in any case, because I was manifesting for that even when I went to Sedona, right? So it was longer than a year overall, but having community. Now, by the way, I'll say that when I left Sarasota, and that was only because it's a bigger city than I like to be in nature. But when I came back temporarily to the west coast of Florida, I manifested it again. Same thing. And in this case, I had joined a business marketing program, and I made so many wonderful people who I really enjoyed, where there was a lot of camaraderie, not the same degree of consciousness, but certainly people with values and ethics and virtues, qualities that I most admire and enjoy and resonate with. So this is what I'm saying. You can manifest anything very easily. Just think about it, be excited, be optimistic, and know that this is how it works. You are always manifesting 24/7, no matter what, because you are consciousness, and what you think about and feel forms in the physical world. So why not do it with a certain degree of conscious and deliberate intent by just thinking about something you're excited about having and experiencing in your future so that you're not attached to the specifics. Now, if it is a materialistic thing like a car, a house, or something like that, just Think about it. What's it going to look like? What kind of brand is it going to be? What color is it going to be? What are the seats going to be made of? Is it going to have a sunroof? Like another time I manifested in Florida when I was living in a different location in Florida, I wanted my own private swimming pool. I wanted it to have a beautiful courtyard. I wanted it to be well lit and bright light, sunny and airy. I wanted it to take dogs. I wanted hardwood floors. And the guy that was the realtor, he was like, there's not a lot of inventory. They always say that, the realtors, right? And I'm like, actually, I went past one realtor because he was like, I don't know if I can find that for you. I was like, if you don't think you can find that for me, you're not my right realtor. Thank you so much. Farewell for now. And when I found my realtor, of course, he was like, there's not a lot of inventory. I was like, is this how we're going to start? And he was like, no, I'm going to find you what you want. I'm going to find you what you want. And I was like, great, that's the right attitude. And sure enough, within 5 days, he found me what I want. And when he told me about it, before I went to visit it, he was like, Lori, I think I found you exactly what you want. And sure enough, I walked in there and it was exactly what I want. And here's the kicker that was really cool with that place was that it had my numbers. It was a house number 11 and all the numbers, it added up to 11. There were multiple numbers and they were all combinations of 11. And ultimately they all added up to 11. And of course, those are my numbers in numerology. My numbers are 11, 11, 11. So I thought that was a nice wink as well. Listen, have fun with this. Play with it. It's so much fun to start realizing part of your conscious ability to co-create and collaborate with the universe. And all that it's asking, really, the intelligence of all that is asking you to utilize energy and consciousness to manifest into your world that which you desire. And this is how you do it. Simple and easy. You don't have to go into long meditations and altered states. You could just think about with excitement and anticipation and gratitude. Thank you for what is on its way to me now. I'm so excited. Thank you. Like, say that with your words. If you want to write it down with bullet points in a journal, do that, of course. If you want to visualize, sure, no problem. Do that. There's no wrongness. I'm just telling you, the fastest and easiest way is to think about it with excitement, with enjoyment, with optimism, with enthusiasm, and just have the knowing. Just have the knowing. It's the way it works. Simple. End of sentence. Okay. I hope this has been helpful for you, you magnificent being. I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have enjoyed sharing it with you. If you have, please do a thumbs up, leave a review, make some comments. It always helps the channel, helps me know that you're enjoying and benefiting as well. It's my great pleasure and honor to share with you the things that I've learned and been able to do with some degree of mastery and offer them to you so you can develop your mastery as well. Okay, until next time, and make sure you catch next episode on time. It's going to be off the charts phenomenal. Okay, I love you so much. Farewell for now. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening today. If you loved the show and if you benefited in any way, if it helped you to up-level or expand your consciousness, if you gained any new insights or ideas, if it made you think or become more aware, or if there were some strategies or intuition that you may have benefited from in any way, would you please do me 2 easy and simple favors? First, if you would be willing to leave a review, it would mean the world to me. I'd be so grateful. And second, if you're willing to share this show with anyone else who would benefit, you can either post it on your social media or just email it to someone and share it with another person or any other people. It would be so awesome. This kind of thing is so helpful in expanding consciousness on the planet and helping others to benefit from this kind of teaching, which just simply isn't generally readily available in the mainstream. So sharing it really helps others benefit and helps our planet evolve and awaken. Plus, expressing gratitude and generosity in this way will also expand your capacity to give and receive even more. Either way, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for participating and for sharing. And overall, just for being the magnificent, the spectacular, the brilliant, the fabulous, the wonderful you that you truly are. And for allowing yourself to be the very best version of you today and every day. All my love and gratitude to you.